his Eldrazi deck.
Yeah, so we're going to now cut to the other top 4 match, which is going to be the 4-color Snap Control Leovold deck against Joe Brennan's Bug Delver deck.
Delver deck, yep.
We don't know if they're in a post-board game or not, but it should be relatively easy to... Okay. So we're going to cut over to that. Okay, so they're looking to be sideboarding. We should be able to suss out who won game 1 once we can see who's on the play. It'll be pretty clear that the other player was the winner. But we may also have our 4th on the power rankings coverage guy come back and tell us who won the first game. Or not. He's now demoted to 5th in the power rankings. It's all right. Gonna try to get him outside the top 8 by the end of the night. He does his best. It's just never good
Joe
enough.
was on the play, but the thing is actually switched again.
Yeah. The names are
the
swapped.
Instinct shirt is Joe Stempo.
Yes.
And the tattooed hands is Joe Brennan.
Yes. Oh, and it looks like Joe is going to be quickly replacing a sleeve. Got to keep those foils in great shape, so makes a lot of sense. They're going to game 3? Okay, so they're going to game 3, so good decider for us to cut over to.
Yeah, perfect timing, right?
Yeah. Only games that matter. Only matches that matter in the top 8 is every match, but...
Yeah, this is the game, though.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah.
Even if someone made a mistake, in one of the first 2, they can reconcile all that right now.
Yeah.
And they can finish it up.
All the cards are on the table, if you will.
As this match is like for
This is a $300 win-in.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, well, this is a $300 win-in with another $400 win-in attached to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, pretty good 50 minutes or so of Magic. Or pretty bad, depending on if you like to view it as a gain or a loss. But
I mean, I like matches like this more than other matches, if that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of a silly way to say it. But, I like the matches where you know that, you've already done well on the weekend.
Yeah.
So you know that you're positive.
You're going home with something no matter what.
And then, you have this shot for something really good.
Yeah.
But you still have, a couple hundo to soften the blow if you've come up short. These are the good matches. It's the security of having really done well in the tournament, fully focuses your energy and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that everybody thinks that way. Some people don't really care about money at all. But I mean, I like money and stuff. Helps me play more Magic.
Yeah.
So I think about it in terms of that. And
I also people who don't love money still definitely would like to not lose money. I don't think anyone likes hemorrhaging.
No, of course not.
So it looks like Joe's hand is pretty solid.
Like
they're both Joe.
Joe
so that's,
Stempo's hand is actually 5 lands, a Leovold, and a True Name.
Oh, okay. That's much worse than I
Joe
thought.
Brennan's hand looks like 2 lands and lots of action.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to have a deciding game in the Joe mirror.
It's
here.
a tough call from Joe's perspective, as both of his non-land spells are. There's 2 Joes. So Joseph's
Joe
perspective, but either way, I'm probably not going to interchange Joe and Joseph correctly and just mess it up a lot. But hopefully we'll figure out who I'm talking about.
We could say Bug Joe and 4-Color Joe.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder than their last names.
So Joe Stempo elected to mulligan the 5-land True Name Leovold hand,
and I think that's reasonable.
I think is narrowly correct. And so he's on the play, right? Because
we believe he's on the play.
He mulled and Joe kept.
Yeah. So Joe is potentially still evaluating his 6, but I think Joe's 6 is as close to rock solid as you can get in the.
Wait, Joe's on 6?
No, Joe's on 7. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Joe Stempo is going to 6. Joe Brennan has kept 7.
Joe's on 7. Joe's on 1st. Who's on 1st? Joe's on 1st.
Who's on 3rd?
It's dizzying. Oh, so Joe Stempo won game 2 because Joe Brennan is on the play.
Well, so we know that Joe Brennan was on the play for game 1 because he's the higher seed, so they likely just traded wins on the play.
Makes sense.
Especially in the Days mirror. Days quite good on the play when you have a land to pick up. Often.
So Joe Stempo's mulligan is also land heavy.
Yeah,
it looks
does have a brainstorm.
True Name Nemesis, Abrupt Decay. Oh, that's a brainstorm, not a True Name.
It's 4 lands, brainstorm, Abrupt Decay.
That's a good 6.
Yeah, with a fetch.
I dig it.
So worst case is he...
And a basic, too.
Yeah, so as long as he doesn't brainstorm into 2 more lands, this brainstorm will fix his draw in at least some manner.
If it's 2 lands and another brainstorm, I'm about it. I'd take that in the dark.
So I wonder if Joe has something to jam right now. If Joe could just untap and jam something like a Leovold, he's shown he likes to play the control role, but it would be fantastic right here if he just jams something on 3.
I think Joe Brennan is confident enough in his ability to navigate the blue mirrors that he's not going to walk headfirst into Daze to validate a card that might make a mulligan even worse otherwise.
Sure.
We can see Joe Stempo picked up a copy of Colligan's Command, which is going to be great.
We know you love that card.
I do.
Less artifacts to shatter in this format, more cards to discard in this format.
You
About
can kind of rub off a Strix or whatever, and hit a Shaman, and like kind of mitigate
shatter
the
a
+1
Chalice,
that
shatter Batterskull, not irrelevant.
Yeah, but I mean, even in this matchup, like just get a creature back and kill a Deathrite Shaman is great.
Yeah, some would call not irrelevant the word relevant. Words are hard.
Although making them discard is fine too. Like the return of creature mode is kind of tough when he has double Deathrite.
Yeah. So I like Shock Deathrite you discard. I think that's the current go-to mode. But...
So it looks like Joe Stempo wants to make sure that Wasteland doesn't set him too far back.
Yeah.
And he's elected to fetch Island and likely Brainstorm before fetching Swamp that he's going to put back with Delta. Or put back with Brainstorm and then fetch with Delta.
So are you thinking about daising this at all, or it's just not worth the card, right? There's just no way?
Like I said, I'm super reluctant to do anything that's a 2-for-1 in the other direction, if that makes any sense.
That makes sense. Just use a card for nothing.
Yeah, like, this game is going to play out over several turns, and, like, several turns are going to matter. This is not the only one.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, your opponent gets to resolve some spells, but, like, they've been doing that all day, and, like, Joe Brennan's undefeated, so I don't think he's going to make any, like, weird... gimmicky plays.
And we see the exact line of return the swamp, then fetch for it that you suggested.
Yeah, I've played a few Legacy Blue decks in my day. I just feel like once you fetch the island, you're kind of priced into putting the swamp back and then fetching it, because like, it actually stops Wasteland like full out. Because once you get the island, like it just incentivizes them to Wasteland your other duel.
Yeah. And so we see an Inquisition of Kozilek. Interesting.
This hand developed nicely for Joe Stempo.
Yeah, he's actually going to be able to be much more successful on this discard plan than I expected. Is this a Spell Pierce? Oh, and it is.
That's fine. Still a 1-for-1 trade. I think both players are fine with this.
So
especially the one sitting with Colligan's Command in hand.
So if Joe was clairvoyant, he would have preferred to Spell Pierce the Brainstorm. Because he would have known that the hand was worse.
Does Joe Stempo have a Taiga in his deck?
I don't believe so.
Because now he's in a weird spot where like he has to fetch a strange...
Well, he has a duel and a fetch.
Yeah, but like he can't like cast Leovold and Colligan's Command with the same 3 mana.
Yeah, but so I believe his hand has a Volcanic right now, and I think he's just going to jam a green duel and then just play the Leovold. Oh, he has a basic force too.
Okay.
Sure, and then he has a Volcanic as his final card.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's also like less than likely that Joe has a Wasteland as his 4th land. So
yeah, I mean, he actually hasn't really had an opportunity to use it, so it's entirely possible that he did.
Yeah.
He hasn't cantripped either, so...
That's fair, yeah.
If
so
he has a Wasteland, we have no reason to have seen it yet, so it's entirely possible that he has a Wasteland.
But he could just be on, like, Click Decay or something like that. Like, you also haven't given him anything to point a...
This game got really, really interesting.
Yes.
Really quickly.
So do we know if he even has a Leovold? I think he was just turning on an Abrupt Decay. Yeah, he has Baleful Strix, Abrupt Decay.
Which is odd because he has sequenced in such a way that he doesn't have the ability to cast Colligan's Command right now, but that's probably okay.
Yeah, so I think you just drain on the way out.
So this is it's tough though. He didn't spend his mana super well.
Yeah.
He could cast Colligan's Command this turn and then Decay and Strix next turn, but I think he's playing around days.
Yeah. Well, so it's also pretty difficult to off of Island Swamp be able to fetch so that you can cast the Colligan's Command into having blue-black,
well, he can just
blue-green.
He can just play the Volk.
No, but I'm saying on turn 4, you can't make blue-black, blue-green off of that mana. It doesn't work. Because you need the Volk to be your second blue and your red.
Yeah.
So it doesn't...
Because you have Island, Swamp...
Oh, no, you can do... Yeah, no, you only have the one black source. So you can't Decay and Strix. So you can't leverage that as your turn 4 anyway. You can't play both 2-drops. But I do agree I would have liked to spend 3 mana on turn 3, but if he's playing around days, then this is the safer line. Because if the Colligan's Command just gets dazed, he's just blown out.
Yeah, he would just had to fetch another dual land, like Sea or something, to be able to do that.
But I think once you have the 2 basics, like you said, once you have the first one, you got to get the 3rd one. And so now this is going to work out.
Was that a copy of Murderous Cut?
I think it was Tassiger, actually.
I don't think Tassiger's in his deck.
Pretty sure that's a Tassiger the Golden Fang. Its text box is too long to be oh, no, it is a Murderous Cut.
It's Murderous Cut.
Okay.
I've drawn many murderous cuts off the top, and they've all been great. So believe me, my friend.
So now we're probably going to see a fetch for a Black Sword Hoe, and another land not really what we wanted to see.
It's okay. You're going to come ahead with the Colligan's commands shortly.
Yeah, but it's also the third land in our hand on a Delver deck where we already have, or well, a Bug deck where we already have 4 in play. Like, it's not horrendous, but there are obviously other cards we would have liked to draw instead.
Uh-huh. I think that the Strix is really good here, though, because it kind of stops the any sort of offensive, tendencies that Joe Brennan's working towards, while at the same time, like, making the Colligan's command really juicy, and, like, also giving him incentive to murderous cut the Deathrite Shaman, so that the subsequent Strix and Delver trade
and
leads
then he can
to
regrowth
a
it.
back-breaking Colligan's command.
Divert!
Oh, there's the divert. We finally got to see it.
That's insane.
Oh, this is awkward, too, now, because now what Joe Sempo has to do is... And Brennan's going to drain him for sure.
So he's
what
going to
Joe
go 12.
Sempo has to do is be very careful to...
Not get snap diverted.
Well, no, that too, but you can have 5 mana, so you can pay 2 for the Colligan's command.
Okay.
Also, you can't divert it because it has 2 targets.
Oh, yeah, we went over that.
But what he's going to need to do is he's going to need to wait until... Wasteland being super good there. But see, he held the Volcanic for
but he has
that
2 in his
reason.
hand.
Yeah.
His hand is Volk, Strix, K-Command.
Yeah, so you can't let the Strix get eaten, right? You need to get 2 cards off of the Colligan's command. So I think it's intuitive for Joe Brennan to cast... Oh, he's going to cast Strix again? Okay.
Yeah. I think it's unlikely that Joe just randomly eats
and a
that
Deathrite
card.
Shaman. That's a good draw.
Yeah, so the Deathrite's quite good.
I think you play out the Volcanic now.
Yeah, because you don't mind it getting wastelanded because you have the second one. And you know Joe doesn't have hymns because you've seen his deck list. So you
actively enjoy it getting wastelanded here because you have the second one and a Colligan's command.
Yeah.
Anything that grinds the game out and he's not reducing your life total and letting this Colligan's command get better.
You also don't mind going from functional 4 to functional 3 because the Deathrite untaps and is your 5th source to K command and regrowth the 2-drop also. So you're fine with that either way. And here we're going to see I'd like to Stone Rain you.
Yep.
The Delver is going to trigger. That's going to flip to a Fatal Push.
Ooh, so we have a clock now.
Yes, we have a clock, and now we're going to put Joe to 8 and a functional 6.
Now he goes to 8.
Yeah, and then he can get drained.
End of turn, it's intuitive for Brennan to drain him, and as a result, it's going to play right into... He's going to play this Deathrite here as well.
Yeah, so he's going to play the Deathrite, and then he's going to choose a regrowth and a shock, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to end up being Fatal Push plus regrowth, the card.
Yeah, it's tough to figure out what he's supposed to target, though. So I think it's probably Delver.
Because Delver's the better clock in play, but the Deathrite will get you there
It's weird that he's regrowthing... He might just main phase regrowth his... I think you should play Deathrite Shaman and pass, and then when Brennan eats before the Deathrite Shaman bricks his Deathrite Shaman, he... shoots Insectile Aberration and returns his own Deathrite Shaman, and then has 2 to the 1 and can start gaining life and win that fight.
Do we know that he has one in his bin? Have we seen it?
Yeah, he got Abrupt Decay last turn.
Oh, you're right.
I think his perspective of regrowthing the Strix and trying to grind through has shifted now to regrowthing the Deathrite and using his 2 Deathrites to invalidate Brennan's 1 Deathrite. Yeah. That's the line I would take, although this is tough because you're just making a removal spell like good again and you don't get to go +1.
Also, if Joe just has any counter magic in response at all, your line just gets blown up.
It just doesn't make sense that he would.
No. But if he just has a force or whatever, like you do, you know, it's still a blue mirror. You don't just get to do whatever you want. This is not going to do what he wants.
No, this is okay.
Oh, he's just going to accept. So he may be at a lower life total than we thought.
What just happened?
He conceded. He must have been dead to the board. I think he was at a slightly lower life total than what we had posted.
Well, he's slated to take no damage that exact turn, right?
So the Deathrite activates, and then he gets to untap and hit him with one of those 2 threats. At least one time.
If he goes Shock Deathrite, return Strix, he has to eat...
He doesn't have a second black source. He can't cast the Strix.
Okay. All right. That was... All right.
Yeah.
So back in the booth, Joe Brennan takes that match 2-1 over Joe Sempo. Really close.